Morning, everyone. My name is Dante Hamilton. I am your host for this edition of Equity Crowdfunding for Social Equity Applicants. This is part two. I actually held a part one in August of 2021, and I had a guest speaker. Today, there is no guest speaker. I was unable to confirm a guest speaker. So I will be presenting the resource guide that I prepared as a really informative piece of information. Document, it's like 138 pages. I won't go through all of that, but first off, I just want to welcome everyone who is watching this because there are only about 6 people that were registered to attend. So if they attend, fine. If not, you'll get the recording and you'll get to see the documentation. I'll leave a link to where you can download the PDF file. All right, so I'm going to just wait a few minutes to see if anyone has any technical difficulties getting in, and then we're going to get started at about 11:15. Okay, I'm going to give up to about 11:10 to see if people are coming in, if there's any technical difficulties, and then around 11:15 we'll be getting started. I know that's a long time, but sometimes people have technical difficulties and you have to allow for people arriving late. So just bear with us and maybe check your email, check your phone, grab some coffee, run to the bathroom, that type of thing. And we'll be right back. Thank you. Hey, Victor, how are you? Welcome. Good morning, Victor. How are you? This is Dante Hamilton.
Good morning.
Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Oh, okay, no problem. I was just checking, wanted to make sure if there was any technical difficulties. So welcome. I am just allowing for some additional people to come. There's only 6 people registered. So we're going to get started about in about 5 or 6 minutes. And I have a PDF file and I want to share that with you. I'm going to upload it so you can have access to it. And we'll be going over most of that. We'll be going over a significant amount of it, but not everything that's in the PDF. So I'm uploading that PDF, Victor. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to confirm a speaker to speak today. So I'll have a part 3 coming up next month, and hopefully I can confirm a speaker. So it'll likely be that this will be a shorter call than anticipated. And I think it'll be worth your time to get the document. If you have to tap out early or leave, that's fine. I'll still do the recording either way. And yeah, I just wanted to give you that quick update. Yeah, great. Thanks for being here. Okay, so let me just continue my configuration here and then give me about a few minutes and we'll get started at 11:10. I just want to allow for anyone else that's coming in to get in and hopefully not have any technical difficulties. This is only my second Zoom presentation, ironically. So I'm not a master at Zoom. I'm a Google Meet person. I'm going to mute myself. If you need me, just type in the chat. I can see the chat.
Whoa! I spilled the Coke.
Where? On the bed.
No, on the food.
Bed rat. I've once done that because I'm a beating. On your food, actually. I was working right and then I was screenshot then it's 20. Just throw this Coke on your food. Oh,
No, it's fine. I'll have it later.
then I can have the salad,
No,
right?
I'm having it.
No!
Okay.
Daddy, please give me the salad. The salad is nice. Oh.
I just wanted to let you know that I could hear your kids in the background. I don't know if you wanted to make that, if you wanted to make that public or not, but I could actually hear your family in the background.
I was testing the mic right now.
That's fine. I don't mind. I was just letting you know. I didn't want you to think I was just listening in. I could actually hear them. I have no problem with that. It was pretty casual conversation, so you could do however you want.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was just looking through the list of people that had signed up, and it looks like there was 6 people that signed up. And I know I have one person on here that this woman signs up for every event I ever have. I've never seen her at any event in person or online. And I think she just signs up for events. All right, so we got a couple more minutes before I get started. Hopefully you were able to get the resource guide, and that has a lot of good information in it. And so I think that is probably the crown jewel of you coming today, is to get that piece of information. All right, so give it 2 more minutes and then I'm going to get started in the agenda, and let me just scroll that on up. And just so you know, I guess you got the notice, but this is being recorded, and I will post it after I make the appropriate edits. I've been recording since I came online early, so I'll make sure that I edit this and then I'll post it probably in about a few days, by the weekend. Hey, Sam, thanks for joining us. You have me, Dante Hamilton, your host today, and also another participant, Victor. Victor is participating from Botswana, and that's far away, I would imagine. So thanks for coming. We're going to be getting started relatively soon. Since you're here, I was only allowing up until about 11:10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload the PDF so that you have access to that right away. I think that's the crown jewel of this event. I was not able to confirm the presenter that I had in mind. I'll talk a little bit about that later, but I do expect that we're going to close the call off much earlier than anticipated. I'm going to go through some of the document, but let me upload that so that you have that. Give me one moment to do that. And there will be a follow-up part 3 next month in August. And I'll be talking about how to develop a crowdfund approach and initial strategy. And I should have a speaker for that. I've been talking to some people already. So you should be able to access that. If you have any issues with that, Sam, let me know. We're going to go ahead and get started. I don't see anybody else looking to come in. It was only 6 people registered. So this is 1/3. I think that's 33%. That's pretty good for me. I'm not an actual online person. So let me just introduce myself a little bit. I'm Dante Hamilton, and I started the CannabisEquityX conference and expo when I had an office in downtown Chicago. And this was actually an in-person event. And we launched it here in Chicago. And it was during the time that the cannabis licenses were just coming to fruition here. And so there was a series of, I think about 6 or 7 of these that I did right up until COVID. And they were getting bigger and bigger in person at my office. At one time, I had a sellout event, over 60, 70 people. And so right when COVID hit, of course, everything ended. And but I had started these things to essentially help educate people who were mainly Black and brown people and women, how to get into business and how to, learn about getting a license. I don't hold a license. I'm not part of any team. I am not in the business. I'm in the publishing side of the business, the information side of the business. I don't do anything that touches the plant as far as growing or any of that kind of stuff. So I'm a neutral person, and my benefit of my events prior to doing virtual was that they were networking events. So people came to my events to meet other people and to get information. And so the way that I presented the information in the document that you have, just imagine that type of information in person. And that was the type of event that I had. When you came to my event, it was information packed. And so there was a lot of information, but it was presentation style, people, panelists, speakers, audience participation, Q&A, that type of thing. And of course, now I'm transitioning to virtual. So if any of you would like to do a quick intro, you could go ahead and unmute yourself and introduce yourself. Okay, so I think no one heard anything that I was saying at all. Did you didn't hear my introduction at all? I take it you didn't hear my introduction. Can someone say yes or no in the chat if you heard my introduction? Oh, you heard part of it. Somehow I must have muted myself. Okay, well, I won't go back over that. Yeah, go ahead, Sam. Oh, that's fine. If you can't speak, no problem. So that's good. Thanks for joining us while you're at work. And I know Victor's here too, and he's on mute as well. So go ahead and feel free to just network with each other via chat. A little bit about me. I'll give you the real brief approach. I started this CannabisEquityX conference and expo back in 2019. And it was prior to the cannabis licenses process. And so the whole purpose of it was to educate and inform Black and brown people and women. But, every race attended my events. It wasn't just Black and brown people, but mainly try and educate them about how to get into cannabis business. And I'm not in the cannabis business. I'm in the publishing business and the information business. Most of the people that went to my events came to network with each other and to get information. So the type of information that you see in that document, it was the type of information that I presented live with panelists, speakers, Q&A. I think the biggest event that I had down in my office was like 60, 70 people. It was averaging probably about 30 people, but then it blew up at some point in February. And then of course, COVID hit, and that was the end of it. So now I'm transitioning now to doing virtual events. So that's kind of my backstory. I know you guys can't talk and present yours, so we're just going to move on ahead. Today, what I wanted to cover was equity, crowdfunding, and the cannabis industry. So the person that I had that had committed to they initially said they were going to present was a equity crowdfunding actual platform. And they had cannabis raises that they had completed. So I was hoping that they would talk about that. So I won't talk about a lot about equity crowdfunding in cannabis, but I will talk about equity crowdfunding. And unfortunately, they never confirmed with me. So it's a possibility that I can still get these guys to come on. They are a equity crowdfunding tech firm, meaning that they could actually host equity crowdfunding offerings, and they have all of the technology and compliance and all of that stuff. So hopefully we'll get those guys on in the upcoming part 3 or part 4. All right, so mainly today what I wanted to present was the resource guide. And if, like I said before, if you have any information you want to share, just put it in the chat. Any type of emails, websites, I don't have any problem with any of that kind of stuff. When people came to my personal events in person, everyone shared, everyone got a chance to speak and promote themselves free of charge. So yeah, I don't have any problem with you hustling or promoting whatever it is, your business, your job, whatever. So to get started, equity crowdfunding in the cannabis industry. So there's a couple of success stories that I wanted to share with you for inspiration if you're looking to do equity crowdfunding. One of them is, both of these are ironically not related to the cannabis industry, but there is the crowdfunding aspect to this. So one is there's a company here in Chicago called Curl Mix. I'm based in Chicago. I know everyone here may or may not be based in Chicago. But there's a company called Curl Mix here in Chicago, and they were very successful. It's a Black-owned company. They were very successful doing an equity crowdfunding for $5 million. And I think I might have, I have some information about their offering right here. So this was very inspirational. And keep in mind, this is from last year. So they've already completed this offering. They had over 9,000 investors. I actually invested in the offering personally because I was so inspired, and I don't use any of their products. I don't have a curl, as you can see. I don't have the hair for that, but I invested in their products because they had such a inspirational story. Their video was inspirational. Everything about it exuded, wow, these guys are going to be successful. And I believe when I got in, I don't know if they were at the $5 million, but they hit the $5 million mark and they kept going. So that's one success story that's based here right in Chicago. And then there's another success story that I really had no clue about. So equity crowdfunding is a way that you can raise equity capital where crowd, like an everyday person, can invest in your business and they own a piece of your business. It's different from rewards-based crowdfunding, which is like GoFundMe, Kickstarter, Indiegogo. Those are rewards donation-based crowdfunding platforms. Equity crowdfunding is a little bit different. You actually have to file a document with the SEC, which I'll get into a little bit later. But it's a little bit different. And so there, to my knowledge, I had never known that there was a Black person that completed an equity crowdfunding successfully. And now the equity crowdfunding now, you can raise $5 million. Prior to the new increase, you could only raise like 1,700,000 or something like that. So there was this one guy, there was this Black guy from a company called Fleeting, and he was able to raise the maximum amount of money in the old structure of crowdfunding. And so his company is a trucking company. It's like Uber for trucking. If you're in the trucking business and you don't have a truck, but you need to like move some stuff around and you want to work in that industry, some kind of way, they had a platform that matched drivers with trucks and loads. And so he actually maxed out the crowdfunding limit at that time, which was $1,070,000. And he was this is an African-American guy. I had never heard of this. And I was so inspired to find this. Pierre Laguerre becomes first Black man to raise $1,070,000 max in all Reg CF platforms. So regulation crowdfunding, as it's called, Reg CF. So it's the same thing as equity crowdfunding. There are what's called these platforms that are like websites. And these websites actually allow you to raise money on their platform. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. So these are two inspirational stories that I just wanted to share with you. I was very, very motivated by these stories. And I wanted to make sure that you guys, you can check these guys out. You got the document. Now, so you're probably wondering, okay, this sounds interesting, but how do I find out more about equity crowdfunding? Well, the easiest way outside of this document that I gave you is to search in the EDGAR database. This is the Securities and Exchange Commission database. It's EDGAR is an acronym for electronic document, something like that. It's an acronym. But you want to search in the EDGAR database for what's called a Form C. And I'm going to get into that really quickly for you. Let me go through these links. These inspirational stories, man, I tell you. Oh, I forgot to tell you, there's another one. WebJoint. I actually invested in these guys. WebJoint did a crowdfunding. They're a cannabis delivery platform in California. I think they've expanded maybe even to the East Coast, Massachusetts, or some other places. I invested in their offering last year. They had a second offering this year. I'm not sure how. I didn't invest in that one. But WebJoint is they have a Black-owned co-founder. So they're not, I don't know if they're 100% Black-owned, but their co-founder is a person of color. He's Black. And I was able to listen to him talk on this Eventbrite event. through Finimize, and he actually came on and he talked about how he got started and everything, and it was a real inspirational story. But let me see if I can get up here to where you can find these listings at, because I think that is the most if you want to find out how to do this. So you want to go, if you look at this link right here, you could click this link. I won't click it because I don't have my browser window shared. But if you click this link, it'll take you right to this page where you could then enter a keyword in. So you want to enter in a keyword, and then what you can do from there is to search for a keyword that has like cannabis in it. Hang on a second, guys. Sorry about that. Trying to move this over. Okay, all right. So you can search for cannabis inside of here. And if you look at the research that I've done, I looked at the date range all since 2001. And so I looked at all, and then I did a file from 2001 to 8/25/2021. And this is what it pulled up. It's going to pull, you want to search under filing type, you want to put C in there. And that's because there's a Form C document that you have to file with the SEC. And it's sort of like a business plan for an equity crowdfunding offering. All right, so pulling up Form C, you're going to get people who actually have filed Form Cs. This is kind of like a way in which you can sneak peek at other people's offerings in the cannabis space. So this is one way that if you're looking to do an equity crowdfunding and you don't know how to get started, the easiest thing to do is go to the Edgar database through the SEC and do a Form C search for the keyword cannabis. And it's going to pull up all of the filed regulation crowdfunding offerings that were a portal, like say not Indiegogo or Crowdfunder, but WeFunder is a portal. WeFunder is one of the biggest portals. So you're going to find these Form C documents from these different companies that have filed, and that is going to help you because you can download these documents. Sometimes they have business plan information in it. They have a lot of what I consider to be somewhat confidential information, but it's a very good toolkit in order for you to get started. So far, just if you have any questions about this, go ahead and put them in the chat. And if not, I'm just going to keep going through. And I think we'll probably be able to get, like I said, started. We'll probably be able to get finished much earlier. All right. So let me go back up here to my agenda. Just bear with me, guys, while I cycle through this right quick. Apologize. All right, so inside of this document here, we have the list of crowdfunding portals, which is what I was just talking about. So this list is outdated because this document is from last year, but there's a link in the document to the existing crowdfunding portals. So you can go right from the links. A lot of the crowdfunding, I think all of the crowdfunding portals that are listed have hyperlinks where you can click to their website, and then you could actually see for yourself these crowdfunding portals. The Form C document, I'll get into that next. The Form C document is also inside of here. And that information is pretty much, like I said, it's like a business plan document. So what you want to do is, with that particular document, you want to make sure that you're working with an attorney, because this is a document that requires legal information. Here's a blank version of the document. As you can see, the SEC says it takes about 48 hours to prepare this document. It's probably going to take a lot longer than that, but you want to get an attorney that specializes in securities offerings. I can't recommend any. I do know of some, but I'm not comfortable recommending them because I haven't used them personally. So you want to get a securities attorney, not just any attorney, but you want to get a securities attorney, person that specializes in equity and in particular, maybe even crowdfunding. All right. So it says, so if you try to apply for the remaining 55 dispensaries, I don't think they allow change partnerships. So if you are giving away ownership to receipts fund, is that allowed? That's a very good question. I think what you would have to do is probably you're probably going to have to create I don't know if you have to create a separate entity. That's a question that an attorney probably would be best answered. I'm trying to think, is there a way around that with the dispensaries so everyone has LLCs already established, and yeah, there may be an issue with that. I really can't answer that question. But yeah, that's a great question. Let me save this so that I can make sure that I use that question in my communication with the presenter, and hopefully I could get an answer for you before the next session. And I'll just email you, Sam. That's an excellent question. Thanks for asking. Let me go ahead and save this chat. All right. Feel free to just jump in at any point, guys, because we're probably a good maybe 5 to 7 minutes from the end of my presentation. Yeah. Sorry, I can't answer that question. I'm not an attorney. If I'd had the person on here, they probably could have answered. But Form C, this is the document that you will be required to actually prepare to do an offering. So here's a sample. And then I also showed you how you could actually go and research other Form Cs. So you definitely want to do that as well with the SEC. You want to go in and research those other Form Cs. Now, a lot of the other information that is in this document is really, really somewhat, I would say, not necessarily technical, but it's the regulations and the rules. As you can see, there is a regulation crowdfunding general rules and regs. This is information that is really just the ruling and all of the legal mumbo jumbo as the ruling exists at the federal level. Then there's also what we have here in Illinois. There's an Illinois crowdfunding exemption that relates specifically to Illinois. Other states have it. I think you can only raise a limited amount, maybe like 1 million in Illinois, and it has to be with Illinois investors. So that one is a little bit limited. And then also, if you have a cooperative, so if you formed a LLC and your cannabis entity legal structure is a cooperative, I just want to give you some basic information about the fact that there is a exemption in place if you filed under the Limited Worker Cooperative Association Act of Illinois. All right, so there's an exemption for securities offerings, which simply means that legal format is friendly for you doing a offering. I think that is pretty much most of what I wanted to present to you guys. Does anyone have any questions for me at this point? I'm just going to rifle through this document to see if there was anything else in here. Oh, there is something else. If you have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat. There is a source of information that is like the, I don't know, what you maybe call it like the Bloomberg of financial data, one of those type of sources. Well, for the crowdfunding industry, there's a couple of different sources, but the one that I refer to is Crowdfund Capital Advisors. So there's a link on page 7 of the document, and you could click that link and go right to their website. They have some data that is available in the actual. They have some data that is available in the website that's free, and then some of it you actually have to pay for. Let me see. We got another person that just came in. Welcome, Tanisha. Can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes, I can. Thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry that I didn't see you. If you were waiting, I just happened to look up at the screen and I admitted you. So I apologize if you were waiting for a little while.
Sure. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Let me upload the document that I am speaking of right now to you so you can have that. That is the crown jewel of this presentation.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for coming. To answer your question, Sam, do they solicit funds on their platform on your behalf? Yes, it's sort of like a GoFundMe for your business. So you essentially drive your traffic to your page on their funding portal. And then, of course, they benefit from the fact that you're sending a lot of traffic, just like Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. You send everybody to your Facebook page, send everybody to your Instagram page, but they still wind up being on the platform. So they benefit that way. And to answer your question, yes, they are registered through FINRA. FINRA is a entity that broker dealers and crowdfunding portals have to register with to be able to offer these crowdfunding offerings online to the public. And so, yes, they actually, when you say, do they solicit the funds, they don't actually go out and get the investors for you. You actually have to do literally all of the legwork. You do benefit by being on a platform. So if your offering gains some traction, then they'll probably feature you, and then they'll send out, like if I invest in your offering, they'll send out notices to me saying that, oh, Sam has an offering online in the cannabis space, Dante. You invested in WebJoint. You might want to check Sam's offering out. And then I'll get some notice that way. And then you'll get some organic traffic from, people that are already investing in similar offerings. You'll get some buzz that way. But you literally have to send all of your marketing and traffic to that website page where your offering is at. How do you determine what equity per dollar? Is there a charge? I'm not understanding that question. How do you determine what equity per dollar? So are you asking the valuation of how do I price my shares? Like, do I sell my shares at $1 a share, $5 a share? Oh, okay, yeah. So that is something that as you work on your regulation crowdfunding Form C, the funding portal can help you with that. So they can help you with coming up with the pricing. That's what they're good at. They're good at saying, okay, well, you're a new entity. You just got your license. From what our experience is, we could see that other dispensaries, other entities in this space on our portal or in this space generally has priced their shares at X amount, and they have gone for a raise in this range, and they could help you with that. But you could also kind of determine that from looking at research. So you can kind of research these offerings that are on the Edgar database that I mentioned earlier, and look at how everybody else has priced their offerings. And let me see, Tanisha, you missed what I was saying earlier, but there is a piece of information in the document that talks about how you can search the Form C, which is the form that you actually file to conduct an equity crowdfunding. And you can go into the Edgar database and search and see other sample forms. Go ahead. I know you got a question. Yeah.
No. That's it. Thank you. I just realized when you mentioned Edgar and then you also talked about Form C. So
Yep.
in order for us to actually participate in this crowdsourcing, we have to become licensed through the use of this Form C. Is that correct?
No. You actually have to get a licensed broker dealer or crowdfunding portal to host and accept your offering. And then they are the ones that are licensed through FINRA, and they actually file the document with your securities attorney on your behalf to get you approved to list on their portal. That is one method of doing this.
Okay.
All right. So let me tell you about another method. So the one method that everyone knows is the GoFundMe way, where you have a tragedy and you do a GoFundMe. The media loves GoFundMe. You see all of the people getting shot. They, have tragedies. They do a GoFundMe. Everybody accepts that GoFundMe. They're like, okay, let's go to GoFundMe. But here's another strategy. There's another strategy called the direct invest or the invest button. And so there are other ways to do an equity crowdfunding that is not on a portal. You can actually do the same type of an offering on your own domain. And this is what I'm going to be talking about in part 3. So there's a way in which you can have your own domain, Dante.com, DanteCannabis.com, CannabisEquityX.com, whatever that domain is. And then you can drive all of your traffic to your domain. So you're the beneficiary of all of that marketing. Because think about it, you're going to be spending, I think the average that I heard is that for every $5 million raised, $1 million of it was marketing. Digital marketing, traditional marketing combined, just marketing. So to raise $5, you're going to have to spend $1 in marketing. So that's one of the metrics that I've learned from researching this. And so if you spend $1 million driving traffic to a portal, then the portal is just like Facebook and Twitter. You know how everybody puts the social media icons on their websites? That's just free advertising for them. You're just sending them business. But there's another method called the invest button. And I apologize, I don't have that in here. But there is an invest button that you can put on your website. And these firms, there's a handful of them, they specialize in doing the same thing that the portal does, but they do it under the guise of your domain, so that when you drive all of this traffic, you're driving it to your domain and you are the beneficiary. You get all of the metrics, you get all of the data, the emails, all of that stuff is all self-contained in a platform that is white labeled in effect for you. White label means that it's a platform, it's a tech platform, but it looks like it's your platform. So it looks like it's your offering. When people come to that page, it's your domain, it's your branding. And this is called the direct investment button. That's not the official name. And I'll be talking more about that in part 3. But that is another method that's alternative to using the portals. Now, I've also heard that in recent years, not recent years, but in recent months, particularly this year, that people are doing what's called, I can't think of what they called it, but it was basically using what they call a syndicated portal, a syndicated approach where you're on the platforms and you're also on your own domain. Okay, so let me break this down to you in simple terms. Say you have a WordPress website. All right, you have a WordPress website, you have a Wix website, you have Squarespace, but say you have a WordPress site. If you have a WordPress site, there is a way in which you can offer a crowdfunding that is, it's not equity, okay? It's not an investment crowdfunding, but it's a rewards-based, donation-based crowdfunding, just like Kickstarter, just like Indiegogo, just like GoFundMe. You can offer this on your own website. and you can use a plugin called Ignition Deck. Let me type this into the chat so you guys can see what it is that I'm talking about. Give me one moment. So ignitiondeck.com. I don't work for these guys. I do own the plugin. I'm not here to promote them, but I'm telling you, this is just informational. So you can use this plugin and create a crowdfunding website on your own domain. And the reason that I bring this up is the analogy that I'm talking about with this direct invest button. These are not the same things, but they are the same in that this is on your own website. And so you can create a rewards-based crowdfunding on your WordPress website using Ignition Deck. It only works on WordPress platforms, but this is very similar to what I'm telling you can do with a direct invest button. The benefit, I think, right now for people like you guys is that people are doing the direct invest button on their website, and they're also appearing on these portals as well. So there's a combination effect. They're not just doing one. But so say you get started on your own website and you get started with your own cannabis dispensary equity crowdfunding, going to your equity crowdfunding domain, which is cannabisdispensaryfund.com, just arbitrarily. And then say you get some traction going there, but you really don't have like the full benefit of being on a portal and that visibility. So then you can then go onto the portal in addition to also being on your own domain. And these tech firms that specialize in doing this, they are the ones that could help you do that. Now, unfortunately, the person that I had in mind for this event today that I was not able to confirm is one of these tech portals. They specialize in doing the quote unquote invest button. So you can invest on your own domain and drive all of the traffic to your website. So hopefully I can get these guys to come in. I am very, very excited, and I could probably keep talking, but I want to cut this short. Does anyone have any more questions for me? Feel free to ask any questions, unmute yourself, chat, and share your information in the chat as well. I'm going to go through this real quick to see if there's some other nuggets in here before I round this up. Oh, here's one nugget. This right here. This is a cannabis cloud kitchen. And I forgot what it was that they do. They're an infuser. So, we got the craft grow and we got the infuser licenses that are available right now in Illinois. So this is a cannabis cloud kitchen infuser. And I was able to, just by going to Edgar and doing a Form C search for cannabis, I was able to uncover Cannabis Cloud Kitchen. Now, if you were trying to put together a offering for an infuser and you got your infuser license, this document would be very, very helpful for you. And so that's one of the nuggets in this. Let me just go through here again. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw them out. I'll try my best to answer. And I didn't give a disclaimer, but I am not an attorney. This is information only. Please consult a securities attorney before you act on any of what I'm telling you. But this is very, very good information. So yeah, here's a list of all of the crowdfunding portals. You can click on there and it'll hyperlink you right to their website. So this is an outdated list from last year, but these things maybe change, 3 or 4 might change each year. Some of them go out of business, some of them get fined, some of them are doing illegal stuff, and then some new people are added. There are Black-owned crowdfunding portals. There is one. I know about one. I think there's a guy affiliated in Chicago with one, but there are Black-owned crowdfunding portals, equity crowdfunding. All right. So there are Black-owned or Black partners in the firm. Okay. So Form C. Let me kind of rifle through this real fast. I think this is pretty much everything that I wanted. I think this is like everything I wanted to present to you. The rest of this is Yeah, I think you got most of all of the nuggets. So it's 11:50. If there are no questions, I'm going to go ahead and end this call. I would advise you to definitely sign up for part 3. I'm going to be talking about a crowdfunding approach, I'm going to be following up on some of the conversation that I was talking about with the rewards base. I'm going to give you some examples of how I'm approaching that. I'm not doing a cannabis offering, but I am doing a equity crowdfunding offering, but I'm leading up to it with some other steps. And so I'm going to give you some insight on that. And then I'll definitely talk to you more about the invest button. Hopefully I could have that guy or that person on for this session as a guest speaker, in addition to my presentation. And then there's some other nuggets that I'll talk about. The one thing before I end, I want to tell you guys is that the one thing you want to have when you do this crowdfunding is you got to have a story. You got to have a story that people can relate to. So if you have that story, I think that you'll be successful. And I'm going to talk about, if you don't have a story, how you can make one. There's some resources for that. If you have a public library card, you can go to, I think there's a LinkedIn library, some kind of lynda.com thing where you can get some training free. And I'm going to show you and put all that stuff in an updated version of this document. So I want to thank everybody for, just bearing with me. This is on my second Zoom presentation in life ever. So thank you for participating, Sam, Tanisha. I know Victor probably had to tap out. But yeah, so only 6 people registered. So I got a 50% turnout. I'm feeling very, very successful about this. And I'm looking forward to helping you guys in any way that I can. Just so you know, Tanisha, I'm not in the cannabis business. I'm just in the publishing business. So feel free to talk to me. I'm not like invested in anybody's deal. I'm not part of anybody's team. I'm a total neutral person. And that's how I like to present myself, just to be transparent. So guys, thank you very much. Yes. Okay. So I thought you were saying something, Tanisha.
No, I was just saying fantastic. I'll certainly stay in touch. I'm not necessarily looking for the cannabis either. I'm looking at another platform, and this information has been extremely helpful. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Tanisha. Thank you, Sam. I will see you guys again on the next call, hopefully. And if you have any questions about that document, just hit me up through the Eventbrite or the website, and I'll give you my email right quick, my main email, and then I'll close this call out. See, do I have that right? It's Dante at Internet Web Pages Newspaper. I got too many web pages in there. Internet Web Pages Newspaper. I spelled that wrong. PER.com. So that is my email address, guys. If you need anything, that is my main email account. So thank you again. I'm going to close this call out. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.